Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is Wednesday, May 13th, 2026 at 6 p.m. I'd like to remind all at this time to silence their cell phones. We have 4 commissioners present and 1 joining GoToMeeting that will be voting over GoToMeeting. If you would all like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. Is there any public comment at this time? Seeing there is none, we'll go on to item number 4, verification of the posting of the agenda.
The agenda was posted as stated on the agenda and on the 7th day of May as in accordance with NRS 241.
Thank you, Diane. Item number 5, verification of notification of all landowners in accordance with the NRS and the Churchill County Consolidated Development Code.
All attempts to reach out to notify neighbors was made.
Item number 6, consideration and possible action regarding approval of the minutes of the meeting held on April 8th, 2026 public hearing.
Yeah, Madam Chair, Mark Hyde for the record. I move that we approve the minutes of the meeting held on April 8th, 2026.
Second.
It's been first by Hyde, seconded by Ansotagi. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Pass 5-0. Item number 7, old business. A, consideration and possible action regarding review of a special use permit, SUP 1086, previously granted to Clayton and Jolene Bryant of Dead Eye Dirt Works on May 8th, 2024 for a home-based business with outdoor storage of equipment. The permit is subject to an annual review by the Planning Commission to determine if the scale of the operation is still appropriate for being called a home-based business. Is there anyone here to speak on this behalf? I'll turn it over to staff.
Dan Collin for the record, Churchill County Planning. We've received an SUP from this applicant to establish a construction contractor and property services use with heavy equipment storage in a C1 district. That will be going to the June meeting. So we request that you extend the current SUP until the establishment of the new business, if you guys choose to do that next month.
And make it subject to termination of the SUP as a home-based business when the commercial takes in effect.
Yes, correct.
Wonderful, thank you. I had to open it up to the board for any discussion.
Madam Chair, just to be clear, we have record that they're moving to another site within 6 months, commercial location.
They have submitted an SUP application as of last Friday
Okay.
at 150 Classic Way. So they're in process.
They're in the process. Thank you.
Any other comment from the board? Is there any public comment? Seeing that there is none, I'll entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, for the record, Jeff Goings. I move to terminate SUP 1086 for the home-based business after approval of a special use permit for moving to a commercial location.
I have a first, Commissioner Goings, second from Commissioner Hyde. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We will pass to approve the home-based business until upon time that the construction SUP goes into place, in effect. Thank you. Item B, consideration and possible action regarding review of a special use permit, SUP 25-12, previously granted to Jared Lake of Arco National on May 14th, 2025 for the addition of a warehouse at the Rail Base Services facility. The property is located at 17127 Inland Port Drive. Assessor's parcel number is 009-251-96. New APN for after a parcel map will be submitted in the I-2 zoning district. A condition for approval was annual review of the permit to ensure that the conditions have been met until the Planning Commission deems it no longer necessary. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of ARCO? I'll turn it over to staff.
Thank you, Dean Patterson, Public Works and Planning, for the record. You have received with the materials, I believe you received it tonight as you arrived, summary of the project that's been underway. As you know, the project is a very large warehouse that is under construction out at the Fernley Business Park at the county line. And as you can see, it's well underway. And Bill Staub of the, who works for the Port of Nevada, provided the summary. And so I can just summarize it very quickly. The earthwork is almost completed. The concrete work is almost completed. The roof is completed. Paint and texture work is mostly done. Electrical, plumbing, and heating and mechanical are done or almost done. They also provided a list of the permits that were needed for the project, and most of them are received, or the remainder are in process. So with that, I'd suggest that you continue it to another review next year, and by that time, they will probably be done.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. I open up to the board for any questions. Seeing that there is none, Mr. Goings, your mic is on. Is there any public comment? Being that there's none, can I entertain a motion?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Mark Hyde for the record. I move that the SUP 25-12 be required for another annual review.
I have a first by Commissioner Hyde, second by Commissioner Ensodity. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Will pass 5-0. Item number 8, new business. A, consideration and possible action regarding a home-based special use permit application, SUP 26-7, filed by Nora Tucker for a home-based business. The property is located at 2966 Indian Lakes Road. Assessor's parcel number is 007-39167 in the A10 zoning district. The applicant proposes selling baked goods, eggs, and crafted items from a kiosk on the property. Is there anyone here to speak on this behalf? Wonderful. Please come on up and have a seat. Yes, please. Both of you will need to state your name and address for the record. In order to speak on the mic, stick it right in between the both of you, and you'll just hit the mic on the bottom base. That'll light you up green when you're ready to talk.
Oh, there we go. Hi, I'm Nora Tucker, and I live at 2966 Indian Lakes Road.
Larry Tucker, 2966 Indian Lakes Road.
Wonderful, thank you. I'll turn it over to staff.
Dan Kalan, Churchill County Planning, for the record. I have before you today SUP 26-7. As you mentioned earlier, this is to establish a home-based business selling baked goods, eggs, and crafted items. This is out of a 2.5 foot by 1.5 foot deep and 5.5 foot high kiosk with a 2 by 2 foot sign. The use anticipates up to 5 visitors per day, operating between the hours of, I believe, 8 and 6. Staff has no major concerns other than the location of the kiosk, which happens to be within the setback, and we've provided conditions of approval requiring it be moved to be outside of the setback. Otherwise, staff is able to make all 5 findings and recommends that the Planning Commission approve with conditions the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
It's easy enough to move for the setback. Our only question was on the permit process. It doesn't say if it's an annual review for the payment. The initial payment was $300. Now we're being invoiced for another $5,500 for the permit.
Is that something that we discuss here, or do we take that to another?
I'll turn it over to staff, please.
No, you're not required to pay that. So this is a special use permit. It's a one-time application, and then you'll be filing for just your business license moving forward. I believe you received a scam.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That makes us way less angry.
Yeah, we've been receiving some,
concern on that.
we've been receiving some reports from other applicants that they have received an email requesting a wire transfer. We will never request a wire transfer.
Yeah, it was like $5,500.
Please tell me you
We had
didn't
no
wire that
knowledge.
yet.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Would you like to see a copy of what we received?
If you would forward that to me, I would appreciate it, so I could forward it to the sheriff.
Did you hear Diane? She would like you to forward it, or Dean, if you could, I don't know if you have a copy, but if you could forward it to Diane at Planning.
Absolutely,
Wonderful, thank you.
We have 4 or 5 copies.
yeah.
I'll turn it over to the board for any discussion, please.
Madam Chairman, Jeff Goings for the record. I just want to make sure that you folks have read the conditions of approval, recommended conditions of approval. You understand that these conditions will be required if this is approved tonight, and you're good with all of the recommendations on here?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
And did you mention that you've already relocated the kiosk 60 foot from the edge of the easement?
No, we will do that, though.
Okay. And do you know how to reach out to Central Nevada Health District for their approval and recommendations?
For the baked goods?
Yes.
Yes, I already did.
Fantastic. Any other comments, questions, concerns? Perfect. I'll open it up for public comment. Seeing that there is none, can I entertain a motion?
Madam Chair, Victor Ansotigi for the record. Based on the information provided in the application in the staff report and heard tonight, I move to find that the criteria found in Churchill County Code 16.08.080H have been met and therefore approve the special use permit SUP 26-7 to establish a home-based business parcel at 2966 Indian Lakes Road, assessor's parcel number 007-391-67.
I have first by Commissioner Ansotigi, second by Goings. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It'll pass 5-0. Thank you for your time and for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
8, new business, item B, consideration and possible action regarding a variance application VAR 26-4 filed by Mark and Lisa Solinsky. The properties are located at 2824 and 2862 Hannafin Way. Assessor's parcel numbers are 006-74178 and 006-74179 in the A5 zoning district. The applicant proposes to submit a boundary line adjustment map for 2 pre-existing non-conforming parcels that would not result in any additional parcels or an increase in any density. Is anyone here to speak on the behalf? Please join us. Come on up, have a seat. We'll need your name, full name, and address for the record, and please hit the mic on the base.
Mark Solinsky, 2824 Hannafin Way.
Lisa Solinsky, 2824 Hannafin Way.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to staff.
Dan Colon for the record, Churchill County Planning. I have before you VAR 26-4, again, a variance to allow boundary line adjustment between 2 legal non-conforming parcels to reduce the minimum lot size requirements. Quick background on this. The 2 parcels are located in the A5 zoning, which has a minimum lot size of 5 acres. Parcels in question are 2.29 acres for 2824 Hannafin Way and 2.5 acres for 2826 Hannafin Way. So they are legal non-conforming because they are smaller than the minimum required lot size. The applicants would like to adjust the boundaries to allow the proposed parcel sizes to be 1.45 acres and 3.35 acres respectively. So since this is a variance, we have the 4 required findings that the Planning Commission is required to make. First one is the property characterized by an an exceptional or extraordinary situation or condition, such as exceptional narrowness, shallowness or shape, or it has exceptional topographic conditions at the time of the enactment of regulations. Staff's opinion that this is indeed an exceptional situation. Both parcels are legal nonconforming. Therefore, it meets the requirement there. Second finding is the strict application of the regulation would result in peculiar and exceptional practical difficulties to or exceptional and undue hardships upon the owner of the property. Under Churchill County Code 16.12040.5A, subsection 3, Planning Commission may grant a variance for boundary line adjustments in cases where both parcels have been developed and the adjustment will not change the character of the surrounding neighborhood and meets the spirit of the zoning ordinance. A strict application of the code requires that you, the Planning Commission, make the determination, so staff has no recommendation on this particular point. Third point is granting of this variance will not be materially detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, or injurious to the property or improvements in the vicinity. There's no proposed change to the development environment. They're just moving boundary lines. All of the infrastructure and property will remain the same. So there's no injury or potential detriment to neighboring property owners. And finally, the proposed variance is consistent with the intent and purpose of this title. Since, as I mentioned before, Churchill County Code 16.12.040.5A, subsection 3, allows for the board to vary in cases such as this, the standards. This is keeping with the title. Therefore, staff has the recommendation of no recommendation and leaves it up to your discretion to decide whether to approve or deny the variance application. I have provided conditions of approval if you choose to approve. Thank you.
Thank you, staff. Is there anything you two would like to add?
So the basics that came about this is just to include some property next to our tree line and an existing little storage shed, and then adjusting it. So we are in charge and have the
We would own the road
the driveway.
to Drum Lane. That way we can maintain it and keep it
Because,
nice.
and my mom's here, she lives in the other house, and then that way it is in our control once that house sells in the future. We just wanted to be able to make sure we are a well-maintained area.
Being proactive. At this time, do you guys already have a boundary line adjustment? Do you have a surveyor in place?
We had some done. It's not finalized. It's kind of up to you guys to go forward with this. We have done the title search and all that and paid for the variance at this point.
And both homes have their own septic and well?
And well.
Correct.
Okay. And with that said, I know staff also had stated that within that boundary line adjustment, they want to ensure that the lots contain and show that septic and well.
Oh, we can point it out.
Say that again?
Sorry,
When
just
you
to
have your-
confirm the condition, what we're looking for is on your boundary line adjustment, if it were to move forward, to show where the well and the septic location is.
So Steve
Okay.
Bell actually did where it says pump house. That is not a pump house.
It's a,
Our pump,
my
our
tools.
well is all the way in the back west, northwest corner, I guess, in that square part, way in the back.
So if it were to be approved by the board tonight, when you guys do your boundary line adjustment, that is one of the conditions that you guys actually have the well and septics for both parcels listed on that boundary line adjustment.
Yes.
Perfect. Does the board have anything to add or say?
Yeah, Madam Chair, just for clarification, I don't see any problem with this at all, but could you indicate right now where the well and septics are on both properties? Give us an idea.
oh, I'm like,
No. Bottom one, or which one is it? You going? Negative?
oh, wait,
I saw that cursor.
oh, wait,
There
there
it
you
is.
go. There's a cursor on the, or pointer.
There's, yeah. Let me see if it comes up. So I can explain it to you. It's, so on the
There it goes, there it
.45.
goes.
There you go, you have it.
There it is, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
no,
that's you?
So on the 0.145 acres, the well would be on the other side of the house?
Left.
Other side to the left? Right
It's
up in there is the well, and the, straight out the back side of the house is the septic.
Up a little.
Yeah, kind of towards the back side, right there, right in there. It runs all the way down there. If you go to the very top left corner, all the way in, right up in the corner, that's where our well is. And then straight to the back,
Right there.
down just a little bit, would be our septic, right in that area.
Yeah, that was just, my question to clarify that this boundary line adjustment would in no way inhibit or include or cause a compromise with well and septic.
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any problem.
Madam Chairman, Jeff Goings for the record. Dan, can we go back one, and I know that I'm going to hear this, and I know that these lines that are on here are not accurate, 100% accurate. My only question is I'm looking at the boundary line that runs along the road. I see portions of that road that are falling outside of that yellow line that's drawn on there.
No.
So that, right where your cursor was, that line that Steve put in, or that marker that he put in, is about where your marker's at, maybe a little bit up. It's actually.
Right about there? Okay.
It's on the other people's property, to be honest with you.
Okay,
To
so-
to the east.
I just wanted to make it clear that, if this happens, these will be spots that'll be identified, because that could create you a problem somewhere down the road if your road to your property is on somebody else's property as well, so.
Right,
yeah,
and
okay.
we looked at that, and
Okay,
what we got
very good.
is, it's not. I would definitely make sure of that, because I don't want no problems.
This is Diane Moyle for the record. Our lines are definitely not accurate.
It also states that you had 2 letters in support. Was this adjoining neighbors?
My mom, and then my brother, who is the executor of my mom's property.
Understood. Any other questions or concerns from the board? Any public comment? Seeing that there is none, can I entertain a motion?
Madam Chair, Vic Ansotigi for the record. Based on the information provided in the application in the staff report and heard tonight, I move to find that the criteria found in Churchill County Code 16.08.090F have been met, and therefore approve the variance VAR 26-4 to variance to reduce the minimum lot size of requirements to allow a boundary line adjustment between 2 legal non-conforming parcels at 2824 Hannafin Way, APN 006-741-78, and 2862 Hannafin Way, APN 006-741-79.
That's okay. I had to look up to see who spoke. And so Commissioner Ansotigi first, seconded by Commissioner Goings. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It'll pass 4-0.
Yeah, Madam Chair, let me just note as Dennis Mills here that I'm abstaining since the Selinskis are family friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Our vote on that will be 4-0. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You guys.
Item 8, new business C, consideration and possible action regarding a minor special use permit application SUP 26-8 filed by Raymond and Teresa Herrera of H&R Trucking. The property is located at 7325 Reno Highway, assessor's parcel number 007-25173, in the C2 zoning district. The applicant proposes a fleet vehicle parking operation at this location. Is there anyone here to speak on this behalf? Please come forward, have a seat. If you can state your name and full address for the record, and just hit the microphone on the base.
Scott White, representing Teresa and Ramon Herrera at 7325 Reno Highway.
I didn't hear your name, if you don't mind saying it
Scott
louder.
White.
Scott?
Yeah, Scott White.
Scott White.
Yeah.
You got it, Diane? Wonderful. I'll turn it over to staff.
All right, Dan Kalon again for the record, Churchill County Planning. I have before you SUP 26-8. This is a special use permit to establish a home-based fleet business vehicle parking and maintenance facility in a C2 zoning district. This case is the result of a code enforcement action. The applicant originally filed for a business license last year. It subsequently lapsed due to non-payment when code enforcement went out there to enforce the lack of a business license. There was a discovery of 10 or more vehicles, and we define vehicles as anything with a license plate, commercial vehicles, so trucks and commercial trailers on site, which prompted a code enforcement action. The intent of this application is to bring the site into conformance with code. So this parcel has a complicated development history. It's zoned C2 for general heavy commercial. Normally residential uses are not permitted in C2. Only residential uses permitted in C2 are via a special use permit only if there's a bona fide farming or ranching operation. Right now, the applicants and 2 employees are living on site in 2 legal non-conforming structures that were built in the 80s. So they're both legal. It just makes the case a little bit more complicated. So we've gone through an analysis in the staff report, kind of looking at what the uses are, and it's our opinion that the best description for this use is a home-based fleet vehicle parking and maintenance business. This kind of balances what's required here in terms of allowing people to continue to occupy the houses while giving us the opportunity to regulate the use in terms of the number of employees, the screening, the number of vehicles parked on site. And again, just to clarify, we define vehicles as both commercial trailers and commercial vehicles, as in trucks. So this is the best way of moving forward. Looking at it as a home-based business, staff is able to make all 5 findings with the conditions that are on page 2 of the staff report. And I'm available for any questions, and thank you.
Sir, is there anything you'd like to add to the staff's report?
All we do is just park the vehicles there. The one building is a storage building we just use it for tires, parts for the trucks, what have you. It's just basically a place to park the commercial vehicles.
Okay. And then all employees live on site,
Yes.
including during an inspection, I noticed that there's a Cougar RV parked out there that somebody's living in. It's hooked up, tilt-outs are out. Someone was coming out of it during the inspection. So it's people living in the RV too? I know the mobile home, the home.
Not at all, no. No, nobody lives in that.
Okay. And then on the entrance, I know you guys utilize Jasper on the west of the property.
Yeah.
There's also an entrance coming off the Reno Highway right up in the trees in the top right corner. Do you guys use that entrance as well, kind of like a circle drive?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right, I'll open it up to the board for discussion.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just a question on landscaping or something where this really is a corridor gateway coming into Fallon. And we don't really have much to say about existing properties, but when we have applications coming to us, we can make suggestions or requirements to help beautify that area. And so
And we're working on.
And so could you, so that's my question, sir, is what are you working on, or what's your plan?
The fence line along 50 there is going to be replaced with much better looking fence and help cut down the traffic noise. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. What type of fencing are you anticipating?
I'm not quite sure. It's going to be an all enclosed fencing. It's not going to be open. because we want to try to cut down the noise and, it looks a little better from street view.
I appreciate that because it's actually a privilege to be in that gateway corridor. And so I'm delighted to hear that you're going to change out the looks of that and
Oh, definitely.
make that aesthetically more appealing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Folks, Dennis Mills, for the record, a couple of questions. One is I read in the background briefing notes that one of the conditions is that we need to make sure that the vehicles are not parked on top of the septic system for the houses. And I was a little confused from the pictures because it looked like some of the parking, I think to the north of the main house, had been in an area that was identified as a septic line. Can we clarify that that's not going to happen and you've got a way to avoid people from parking in a big lot that has a septic line under it?
Yes, just north of the house there, adjacent to Jasper there, the septic is right there. And so we tried to eliminate parking, even a personal vehicle in that area because of this septic system.
Great. So are you fencing that off or anything? On the picture, it looks like it's just another parking lot. So I'm a bit confused as to how you're going to kind of make sure that happens.
There's an area just north of the house there. That's where the septic is.
Oh, so it doesn't
Yes, right
extend
there.
all the way up
Yeah,
to
right
the
there's,
road.
right there's where the septic is. So bring your browser to the left, right there's where the septic is. And so we
Great.
eliminate parking of any kind of vehicle there because of the septic. And there's actually a stake, a pipe that's in that area. So there's no parking there at all.
Great, good, thank you. The other question I had was I thought in the notes it said something about you not only park the vehicles there, but you were planning to, to work on them for maintenance and other things. So does that mean you're functioning sort of as an active maintenance or repair shop for the vehicles, or is it really just you're parking on behalf of somebody else?
It's basically just for the parking. We have a yard in Reno, in Mustang, in fact, that we do a lot of maintenance and stuff there.
I gotcha. Okay, great. That's all I have.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, Jeff Goings for the record. Again, I will make sure that if this is approved tonight, that there are conditions of approval, are recommended conditions of approval. Have you had a chance to read those recommended conditions
No,
of
I haven't.
approval?
I'm just representing these.
Okay. Well, so just to be clear on this, if we happen to approve this tonight, these conditions of approval will go along with this SUP. And so every one of these should probably be at least looked at or reviewed, or we're going to approve them as these conditions are written here. And this would be your time to state if there's a problem with the conditions of this SUP if it was approved tonight.
No, I don't see no.
I would like a little bit of clarification from staff. I know it says in the conditions about having handicap accessible parking within 6 months of the SUP. Another one is code requiring the landscaping. I have a couple questions in regards to, with there being 2 homes there, it's limited to 4, including owners, that includes the owners, to live on there, and no more than 10 can report there to work. Can you clarify it, 2 per home, or what do you?
Yes,
how are
2
you?
per home is what we're looking for in that case. Currently, I believe there's 2 that are living in the manufactured home, and then there are 2 that are living in the
Yes, there
stick-built.
is. Yes.
So we're looking to maintain what's there as opposed to changing or allowing any additional people living on site. As for the conditions required within the first 6 months, that's because the business license has been paid and is currently active. So this is a means of bringing them into enforcement sooner rather than later.
Okay, perfect, thank you. The other question I have is it's really confusing when the recommendations, conditions, and approvals state that there should be no more than 25 commercial vehicles. I immediately think of 25 semi-trucks trying to park on that little tiny lot. Can you please clarify what the 25 commercial vehicles would be?
So we consider commercial trailers and semi-trucks to be both commercial vehicles. So currently, I believe there's something like 8 to 12 commercial trailers on site.
Yes.
So what we're allowing for is the additional storage of trailers and/or semi-trucks or other types of commercial vehicles on site not to exceed 25. So it's just to provide flexibility as opposed to having to go back and count and verify everything. It's a matter of enforcement convenience as well as providing some flexibility.
So just for clarification, a semi-truck and its trailer would be 2. Then
Correct.
all their personal vehicles count as well, and that's how you're coming up with 25.
Don't believe the personal vehicles count, but anything that would be considered a commercial vehicle registered with the state would count. So we'd have 2 for the semi-truck and the trailer.
Okay. So as part of conditions, are you opposed to if they currently have 12 and we move it to 15 versus this just being overtaken by commercial vehicles and then they don't have places to park because of wells and septics and whatnot? Is that open to discussion or is it set at 25?
It's open to discussion. If you guys want to amend the condition, that's reasonable.
Do you have anything to add to that, sir?
There won't be more than 25 at any given time.
So you think you need 25 or the 12 that you have is sufficient?
12 is what we got, will be sufficient.
Okay.
Now, I'm just a bit confused here, so I need Jeff going for the record, I'm sorry. So we have 12 spots right now, but those 12 spots can occupy a commercial trailer and a commercial vehicle, which gives us a total of 24, is that correct? In our 12 spots? I guess is that why we went to the 25?
We went to the 25 specifically to allow for flexibility if the business were to expand. So if they were to move from 4 or 6 to have more, and then likewise, if they've already got 10, 12 that are already there, it's more of it adds up quickly. We're at somewhere around 18 to 20 just with that rough figuring. So it was just more of a flexibility.
Okay, so that helps me a bit then. So basically what we've done is you've given a little leeway there so that we're not out there having to do code enforcement at some point just because we happen to have some vehicles over. Gotcha.
Appreciate that.
That was the intent, yes.
Madam Chair, I had the same concern you did on this. And I just remember your name's Scott.
Yes.
Okay. Presently, you have 12 parking places, right?
Yes.
And just a few minutes ago, you said you probably wouldn't need more than 12. I'm looking at this property. I don't know why there's feedback right now, but let's see, I'm looking at this property. It's hard for me to visualize. It's hard for me to visualize 25 rigs parked on there. I can see 12, but to see 25.
It would
And
never-
even granted, your trailer and tractor and trailer, I mean, still to me, can you see more than a need for 12?
No, not at all.
So I don't know why we're putting 25. Okay, so to me, to take that property and just try to get 25.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way.
No way at all.
And I don't know why we would want to create even a potential problem in the future. And I'm okay with giving you some kind of a buffer, maybe go 15, but I don't understand 25
Yeah.
in the conditions. Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way that 25 would fit in
No,
there.
no. So instead of making these conditions, when we make a motion, we'll change that one condition to not to exceed 15 instead of 25. Are you okay with that? All right, thanks.
Jeff Goings for the record. I want to confer because I'm getting a bit confused here. If we have 12 parking spots, that would be a trailer and a truck, 12 spots for trailer truck, correct?
So that would be truck
And trailer.
trailers, and that would be, so you're calling that one spot?
So that one spot qualifies, that's 24 already, because you have 12 spots, and in each spot you have 2 commercial vehicles, because the trailer is considered I'm pointing at staff here, because I want to get clarification on this. The truck is one, the
Yes.
trailer connected to it is two.
Yes.
So if you have 12 spots, you have 24 commercial vehicles that can park on those 12 spots. Do you follow, does that
So
make
that's
sense?
what I want to make clear is, are you?
We're counting
individual
license
and-
plates. So,
Yeah, because
commercial.
see, like, our doubles would, your calling would actually be 3 spots. Because we'd have a truck, a lead trailer, and a pup. So that would actually, you're calling that 3 spots.
that's how we would look at it, yes, in terms of code enforcement.
Yeah.
So,
So that's my concern here, is that we cut you back, and you have 12 spots that you're already parking a truck and trailer or a truck and a doubles. That spot now is 3 spots.
Right.
And not 1.
Yeah, so we
Okay.
need to make sure that we can have enough variance that we can park.
Yeah. So again, back to Commissioner Hyde and Chairman Edgman here, is 12 spots going to be enough?
I wouldn't go less than 15 spots on,
Yeah.
individual
Okay.
spots.
Again, I'm getting back to where you've already got 12. At 12, every parking spot now
Yeah.
is two. So if you have 12, you have the ability to park 24 commercially licensed
Individual pieces
of equipment.
Right.
Right. So you see what I'm saying is if we cut that back to 12 individuals, where are you going to be? Now you're only going to be able to park 6 trucks with trailers.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't see how you get that many in there.
Talking about 6, is that what you were saying? Was you were saying 6, meaning 6 times 2, you have your truck and your trailer, that was, you were counting 1.
Well, see, we've got doubles, so we'd have a truck, a lead trailer, and then a pup, so that's 3 spots.
How many trucks do you own?
We own 4 ourselves, and then we have a few leasers, but they're very seldom there, very seldom. And so they would have 1 or 2 spots.
Understood.
Commissioner Mills here, for the record, a question, where did the number 25 come from? Was that recommended by staff because of these issues?
generally, yes.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with staff's recommendation that 25 is probably sufficient for the doubles and triples and leasers that we're hearing, so we don't have to worry about a code enforcement action for the numbers, but still lets them have the flexibility to park up to 6 units. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely, and thank you for the clarification, because there was a lot of confusion on that. Is there any more from the board?
So clarification, we have 25 spots? Okay,
Staying with the recommendation.
yep,
With the clarification, it helped, thank you.
yep, thank you.
Is there any public comment? Seeing it, there is none, can I entertain a motion?
Madam Chair, Mark Hyde for the record. Based on the information provided in the application and the staff report heard tonight, I move to find that the criteria found in Churchill County Code 16.08.080H have been met and therefore approve the special use permit SUP 26-8 to establish a home-based business, fleet vehicle parking and maintenance facility in a C2 zoning district parcel at 7325 Reno Highway, APN number 007-251-73. And this would include all conditions.
Okay, appreciate it.
I have a first with Commissioner Hyde, a second with Commissioner Goings. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? It will pass 5-0. Thank you for
very
time.
much.
If you'll touch base with staff on where to go from here. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. 8, new business, item D, consideration and possible action regarding a zone change application ZC 26-1 filed by Standard Energy Advisory LLC for Basin and Range Investments LLC. The properties are located south of Interstate 80. Assessors parcel numbers are 004-051-19, 004-051-29, 004-051-31, 004-051-33, 003-651-01, and 003-671-03 in the RR20 zoning district. The applicant proposes to change the zoning from RR-20 to I3. Is there anyone here to speak on the behalf? You guys will have to split between 2 tables. Please state your first and last name and address for the record. And each time you guys are speaking, just turn your mic on and off. Thank you.
I think that's, well, yes, we're good. Stacy Huggins with Wood Rogers on behalf of the applicant in this case.
Jason Garwal with Standard Energy Advisory on behalf of the applicant.
Randy Rice with Redwood Materials, supporting the application.
Perfect. Can I get you all to state an address for the record, please?
Sure. The address for Wood Rogers is 1361 Corporate Boulevard, Reno, Nevada.
The address for Standard Energy, 5220 Caminito Exquisito, San Diego, California, 92130.
The address for Redwood Materials is 675 Innovation Way, McCarran, Nevada.
Thank you. I'll turn it over to staff.
All right, Dan Klon, for the record, Churchill County Planning. Have before you again, zone change 26-1. The applicant is requesting a zone change for 6 parcels from rural resource to heavy industrial, located southeast of the I-80 Nightingale interchange, with the intent of establishing major power generation, solar, and data storage and processing uses. The applicant provided answers to the 5 required questions. I've outlined that in my staff report, but I would like to talk about the findings that the Planning Commission is required to review and staff is required to provide the analysis on. So there are 3 required findings. So first is that the proposed amendment is in substantial compliance with and supports the goals and policies of the master plan. This amendment is supported by 6 goals in the master plan, as well as 4 individual policies. I've outlined those on page 4 of the staff report. These range across economic development, open space, and land use topics within the master plan. Fundamentally, what we're doing here is encouraging renewable development as well as industrial clusters alongside the I-80 corridor. So that's something that we've been looking for on a strategic basis within Churchill County for a while now. Therefore, we're able to make finding 1. Second finding is that the proposed amendment will provide for land uses compatible with the existing adjacent land uses and will not have detrimental impacts on other properties in the vicinity. So the surrounding area is largely unoccupied. The closest uses are the existing Ormat Desert Peak geothermal facility, which is to the northeast, as well as its associated solar. And then we have additional geothermal to the northwest by the Nightingale Junction, as well as a food processing. So I believe it's a garlic dehydration facility. And then just about, I think, 4 miles north is a mine for U.S. Silica. So fundamentally, the area is already occupied by industrial and industrial type uses. Therefore, it's compatible with the existing adjacent land uses. This is not going to be considered anything like spot zoning in terms of detrimental impacts to other properties in the vicinity. This is a large scale change in zone. We have 6 square miles, and the reason that it is not contiguous in this area is because of the large amount of checkerboarding of Bureau of Reclamation and BLM land in this area. So it's very difficult to change zones when the federal government controls the parcels in between your parcels. So fundamentally, this is a large area that also is in close proximity to the indicative area for industrial development along the I-80 corridor, which I believe you can find in Exhibit 3 on page 7. You'll notice that just the section north of the northernmost parcel clips the bubble that is indicative of where the master plan calls out for industrial development. This is close enough from our perspective, as well as advancing the master plan goals, that there's no detrimental impact and we avoid any spot zoning. And then finally, the proposed amendment will not or negatively impact existing or planned public services or facilities and not impact public health, safety, or welfare. So heavy industrial uses or zones are, I'm going to read this specifically. The purpose of this district is to provide for heavy industrial activities and land uses that have great potential for impacting adjacent land uses and infrastructure. Specifically, what I want to call your attention to is this type of zoning should be located away from people and other non-industrial uses, and uses within it may have to develop their own access to roadway and transportation systems. And then it has a referral to the code section. The key point here is that the infrastructure impacts of this are considered to be part of, or rather inherent to the district. Building infrastructure to that district is part and parcel of what that zone district calls for. As it stands, the applicant is proposing to access these parcels using the existing access through BOR land for the Ormat geothermal facility that's to the northeast of the subject parcels. However, at this point in time, they're not required to provide legal or physical access. That would come at a development application should they choose to move forward with anything they are developing. And therefore, staff is able to make all three of the required findings and recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval of this zone change application. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, staff. Is there anything you would like to add?
Madam Chair, I have a presentation. It's about 5 or 6 slides. I'm happy to go through that if you all would like to get a little more information from us.
Absolutely. I think it's great to get it on record.
Great.
Thank you.
So for the record, again, Stacy Huggins with Wood Rogers on behalf of the applicant in this case. I will just start with this slide. I think you might have seen it while they were talking, but just sort of a general idea. Again, this is 6 vacant parcels. They are all privately owned. They are the ones shown in the blue there. So the yellow parcels and then the gray parcels are either BLM or BOR. So as staff mentioned, creating a consistent pattern of zoning is difficult with those federally owned parcels. So we have internally been calling this checkerboard intentionally because of what you see on this picture here. You'll note that these 6 parcels are approximately 21 miles north of Fallon and 2 miles south of the Nightingale intersection. Again, as staff mentioned, that Interstate 80 area to the north of here is identified in the master plan as an industrial corridor. So again, the zone change to industrial on these parcels is not a far reach. Also, as staff mentioned, we are planning to use that red line on the map is an existing dirt road that provides access to the Ormat Desert Peak geothermal facility. It's a little hard to see on that exhibit, but hopefully you can see it there marked to the north east of the middle parcel. That's an existing facility that Ormat operates. They've been operating it there for, I think, almost 20 years. So we are planning to use the same road alignment that they are using with some minor improvements to that road. We have submitted an SF-299 form to BLM so that they can start reviewing that and grant us the legal access that will be needed should you approve this zone change and a future project comes forward. Just to touch on the current zoning, as staff mentioned, it is currently RR20 Rural Resource District, which is intended to protect natural and archaeological resources. Our research indicates that there are no known historical or archaeological significance that would be impacted by this zone change. The RR20 designation effectively locks these parcels out of productive economic use without providing meaningful environmental protection. Rezoning to the industrial unlocks the potential for responsible development that generates tax revenue for Churchill County, has the potential to create jobs, and also leverages the existing industrial corridor in the area. Just to touch on why we believe the industrial zoning, or the heavy industrial I3 is the right designation, and I'm sorry, some of this is repetitive, but as I said before, there is an industrial corridor to the north. We believe that the change that we're requesting is consistent with that industrial corridor to the north. The parcels to the north along the highway there that you see in the dark purple, not the hatched, are already designated I3. So again, this is not really a reach to ask for this zone change. It also does not introduce industrial use to a pristine area. Again, we are really trying to expand industrial uses that are already there, compatible with the Ormat geothermal facility. There are no compatibility concerns because there's no residential nearby. Again, just to reiterate, it's mostly industrial or undeveloped land around us. Finally, the reason that we think that this zone change is a good opportunity is that it will facilitate future development of large-scale utility or renewable energy uses. And all of those have criteria, and we have put a lot of thought, and we're still working on what that project really looks like. But we know that these future development on these properties will require minimal water use. They will be designed to ensure defensible space for fire protection during both construction and during operation. We will make sure that there are non-combustible materials that are designed to be fire resistant with future projects. And then again, the compatibility with that adjacent Ormat facility. We really think those reasons are beneficial and justify the zone change. I won't go into a lot of detail. As staff mentioned, the master plan, the zone change really does directly advance the county's master plan. Identified on the slide there a number of the master plan policies, but I want to just point out policy LU 2.1, which states that the county should approve requests consistent with land use and the master plan policies. Again, tying that to the existing industrial corridor along the highway helps justify that master plan goal. And then goal LU3 and policy LU 3.1, which specifically call for green energy projects that meet environmental standards. As I mentioned, as future development on these parcels is considered, we are talking about energy generation, both renewable and conventional as a use here. Both of those are a primary permitted use in the I3 zoning, which again makes this zone change compatible with the master plan. And then just should you be curious to know what kind of uses might be permitted if this zone change is approved, there is a long list there. I won't go through all of them, but just to hit on a couple of them, again, major and minor power generation, both renewable and fuel-based uses are appropriate here. The parcels are ideally suited for those types of uses given their location, the flat topography of those sites, and also the adjacency to the existing Ormat facility. Data storage and processing facilities are another high-value opportunity with this zone change. The energy industry is increasingly co-locating data storage facilities with solar facilities, and so we want another opportunity to bring a project like that forward. And then, warehouse storage and distribution, which would not be unlike what is existing currently along the I-80 corridor and a couple of those uses that staff mentioned. So while the permitted use list is broad here, the remote location and natural characteristics of these parcels ensures that even the more intensive uses that might be in this list have zero impact on residential communities, ensuring that heavy industrial zoning makes the more sense for this property than RR20. So that is my presentation. Our team, as you met earlier, are here to answer any questions for you, as am I. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation and your time. Was there anything you wanted to add from Redwood?
No, I'm just here more of as a technical advisor for the team. So if questions do arise about the application, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you. I'll open up to the board for discussion. If there's no further discussion, any public comment? Seeing that there is none, can I entertain a motion, please?
Madam Chair, Vic Ansotigi for the record. Based on the information provided in the application and the staff report and heard tonight, I move to find the criteria found in Churchill County Code 16.08.060E have been met, and therefore recommend to the Board of County Commissioners for approval zone change ZC26-1 to change the zoning of 6 parcels from RR-20 to I-3 located south of Interstate 80. Assessors parcel number 004-051-19, number 004-054-29, number 004-051-31, number 004-051-33, number 003-651-01, number 003-671-03.
I have a motion first by Commissioner Ansotigi, second by Commissioner Hyde. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? It'll pass 5-0 with our recommendation to be approved towards the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, I understand. Item number 9, consent agenda. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Planning Commission with one action and without an extensive hearing. Any member of the board or any citizen may request that any item be taken from the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. Is there any pullouts for the consent agenda? Seeing that there is none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, Mark Hyde for the record. Yeah, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Hyde, seconded by Commissioner Goings. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Consent agenda will pass 5-0. Item number 10 is consider for future agenda items. If there's any thoughts, topics from the board or staff, it's at this time we can discuss. Seeing that there is none, we'll move on to item number 11, Commissioner reports and updates. I would like to read a resignation letter for an update. It says, Dear Tammy and members of the Churchill County Planning Commission, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from the Churchill County Planning Commission effective immediately. Due to increasing personal and professional commitments, I am no longer able to dedicate the time and attention the position deserves. After careful consideration, I believe stepping down is the best decision at this time. It has been my privilege to serve the community, and I wish the commission continued success moving forward. Sincerely, Scott Nelson. Item number 12, is there anything else you guys would like to add for commissioner reports or any updates? Perfect. We'll move on to item number 12, public comment. Seeing that there is none, meeting is adjourned.